If you have had or know someone who has had an abortion, raise your hand. Look around. Look around.
When I was 20, I found out I was pregnant with an at-home test.
So I was 22 years old, and I had just moved to a new city with an abusive boyfriend away from my friends and family.
It's in a super loving, committed relationship. We just bought a house. It just still wasn't the right time. As soon as I found out, I started crying.
And I always considered myself to be pro-choice, but being faced with actually making that decision was drastically different than just thinking about it in theory.
Yeah.
So it took some time to process, but I eventually went to a clinic and they confirmed I was pregnant. And I did ask about what my options were for abortion. And the doctor suddenly, this very serious look on her face and in a judgmental tone asked me if that's what I wanted to do. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to be pregnant.
Being here in Canada, I was lucky enough I could just go to my family doctor and get a referral. And they also set me up with an ultrasound to find out how far along I was. And the ultrasound tech was really nice in just doing her job, but she turned the screen towards me and congratulated me on my baby.
So I had to get confirmed by a doctor and then confirmed by a separate blood test on a separate date, and then booked to confirm it with an ultrasound at a separate hospital on another date. And only then would they even book me on the wait list for the abortion.
Wow.
So I found out at 3 weeks, was ready to have it terminated, and it was 8 weeks before I could get in, which was frustrating, even though it's accessible and I didn't have to worry about the cost of it. There were still hoops to jump through. I was serving tables to get shifts covered.
And you were pregnant.
Yeah, I was exhausted. I was in a lot of pain. Every morning I was in a lot of pain, and my body did not agree with it well. And the hardest thing was just not being able to tell people. I had to go do double shifts serving tables and couldn't explain it.
I was feeling sick, weak. I didn't know how to feed myself. I didn't feel comfortable talking to any of my friends and family. I didn't know what they would think. And I thought maybe that's something I could handle on my own.
Yourself.
Yeah.
So on the day of my abortion, my support person was my partner. We had to arrive at the hospital at 6 a.m. to beat protesters and for anonymity. And you get there and we all arrived in the room at 7 a.m. and you don't know what the order is you're going in. So you could be waiting up to 5, 6, 7 hours.
I talk about this in my show. I had that same experience.
Yeah. Once I was in that kind of secret room, everyone knew what I was there for.
Right.
Everyone had done it.
Finally be honest.
Yeah, everyone knew what I was there for. Everyone knew what they were doing. They were all professional. They were wonderful. And I could stop protecting or hiding it from people.
The procedure itself was only a few minutes, and then I was wheeled back into a room with 5 or 6 other young women who had done the same thing. And the grief and guilt was palpable. There was sobbing, but no one was really connecting. So I just wanted to flee. The next day, I honestly just got on with my life.
After I felt so calm. And suddenly I wasn't sick anymore. I didn't feel nauseous. I just felt myself. And I just wanted to go home and play video games and eat ice cream.
I can't believe how much better I felt the next day. I just didn't feel like myself. I was in pain every day. It was an awful experience for me.
You were pregnant.
I was pregnant, yeah. Yeah, I was pregnant.
Yeah, I think people forget that even when you get an abortion, you're still pregnant. I mean, in that sense, you are no different from other people who are pregnant at 1 and 2 months who are on a different path.
Yeah.
Your experience is still valid. That's the thing about abortion that is so weird, is that we're just called upon to kind of
Pretend it's not happening.
Pretend it's not happening, totally compartmentalize it, basically erase it, because it's sort of this annoying, unnecessary thing that no one wants to really talk about or deal with.
Since then, I met and married my husband. I moved to a new city. I got sober. I make art every day. And most importantly, I realized I never want kids. So I'm very glad I didn't allow anyone else's opinion to make that decision for me, because I wouldn't be where I am today.
So, and I think that was motivation for me to leave my abusive relationship. I was like, I don't want this life anymore. And I mean, now my life's way better. That was 6 years ago. I have a lovely boyfriend. We live with our 2 cats. I am a sex educator through a feminist sex shop. I feel empowered. I can identify as a feminist again. And I'm starting a master's degree in counseling.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I just think it's important to remember there's people that need abortions for very serious medical things, for trauma or for the death themselves or the potential fetus, And there's also people that just have them because that's their choice. And I think I represent that. I had a good situation, great partner. We lived near our families. Absolutely could have done it. It doesn't mean I have to.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful because the trajectory my life went on after that was directly related to the freedom I had in my life for making that decision.
Yeah. If we spend all of our time going, oh, but in cases of rape or in cases of incest.
What about in the cases of, this just isn't right for me?
This just isn't right for me and I want autonomy over my body. God damn it.
Yeah. And I'm grateful to this day. Like, I have the life I have because I was able to access an abortion. It still wasn't easy. Like, four appointments, 4 days off work. How do you do that if you're trying to hide it from your parents or your partner or for whatever reason? Like, it's just not, just because it's legal doesn't mean it's accessible.
It's about who has power and who is, who's almost blocked from accessing just their power, period, and needing approval after approval after approval, usually from a bunch of men.
And I'm glad I've come to a point where I can start sharing that story with friends. But every time it's so terrifying because you think you can know someone, but when you actually tell them that you've done that, the reaction can be so much different than what you think.
Yeah, but still we need to just persist and tell the truth.
Absolutely.
It's the only way.
Isn't it amazing how we can never tell who is in an identical hell?
Part of the reason I started talking about my abortion a lot afterwards, and just casually, like at wine clubs and things like that, is so if someone found out they were pregnant and they were going to have an abortion or thinking about it, they knew someone to talk to because you're not sure where that power lies or who feels what way. And since that time, I've had at least a handful of people reach out and say, I remember you mentioned this. Can I call you? I said, yes, come. I'll tell you what it's like. We can, if you need an accompaniment, if you need someone to lie and say you're at my house for the night, whatever needs to be done.
That is an amazing service that you are doing for society. Thank you.
I'm lucky someone did it for me.
Yeah, and I've had people who've done it for me, and I've been now on the opposite side of the fence, and it feels incredibly good to reach over and bring people, along.
I eventually told my friends during a camping trip that summer, and they said, we wish you told us. We would have been there for you. But that's why voicemail for Jill really affected me, because I wish I had that kind of support. I wish I had those people. But then I'd be so happy because there are those people out there. They would have supported me.
No one's gonna compliment you. No one's gonna nod their head and wink in league with what you are pursuing. No one's gonna tie surprise balloons onto your desk at work, and no one's gonna ask you how you're doing. But I'll be back in Boston by next Thursday. Why don't I come over?
So thank you for helping me not feel alone in that.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that story. And, the whole point of doing this is so that, anyone who might be now where you were might hear you tell this story and tell their friends. Mm-hmm. Just remember that they don't have to be alone.
Right.
Because they're not alone.
They're not.
We'll throw you the best abortion.